This is a quarter mile down. You will hear things.
How many people died here?
I am feeling a cold chill going up my leg. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of nice.
We are paranormal investigators.
We're gonna figure out what's here and what we can do about it.
Watch as our team of experts crisscross America through the unknown and beyond.
Look at me now, look at me now.
I got to come out twice, for being gay and for talking to dead people.
I have been a tarot card reader for 31 years. You've got Miss Alex, the tech guru. Logan's one of the best mediums I've ever seen. Roz is our researcher. Juju is our resident witch.
This is a pretty simple seance setup.
More like a gay
We might be dealing with something demonic.
There was something hovering over me.
It's moving. We are not here to provoke spirits.
Is there anybody up here with us? Don't move.
I hear gay people.
Alex,
Me first. Hey, I've been having paranormal experiences since I was a child, and it kind of became this obsession where I was trying to figure out what it was that was happening, which ties in the technical stuff because I like to be more science-based and trying to understand what it is that's actually happening and trying to explain it through technology.
I mean, I think you're going to find a common thing with all of us that we as a kid had some weird stuff happen that we couldn't explain and then just turned it into some kind of obsession. And that's definitely true for me. And then I got into the podcasting world and started talking to people about their experiences and learned a lot and got very fascinated by it. And that's when I really started to become a ghost hunter.
I've been a psychic medium my whole life. I've definitely interacted with spirits my whole life, but I became a professional 10 years ago, and I've been in the paranormal space and ghost hunting. And like Ross said, it's just something I was always drawn to. I live in a really rural town in the South, and so it's something that was very sort of taboo, but it was something I never could get away from. And now I'm ghost hunting professionally. So there you go.
So for me, it was growing up in a haunted house, being 8 years old and not being able to sleep at night because there were spirits, walking through the halls and coming into my bedroom and hovering over me. And I was blessed to have an amazing granny who really took me by the hand and led me through that world, helped me understand it, and helped me develop great skills and techniques to deal with that. And then to work for 15 years inside the paranormal industry and do in-home and public and paranormal investigations really drove into my head the process and procedures of it, which furthered my interest and my desire to participate in that conversation of life after death.
Yeah, I think that I've always been a healer, though I did not always seek to develop a relationship with the dead. I was actually an adult within my mid-20s. But yeah, I've always been a healer. I thought I was going to be a therapist and a psychologist. That's what I went to school for. I dropped out of grad school and realized that, no, you're a witch. And so then I think when spirits started talking to me when I was older, I started to have prophetic dreams and learn more about what was happening to me and realize there's a whole community of people that do these things. And that's how I found myself in the spiritual juju space.
And I'm the executive producer and one of the creators of the show. And I just grew up in a haunted house. I never got any gifts after that. I just got the shit scared out of me. So I was like, good time for surround myself with people who can actually do something about it. So my mother, I grew up in a house in New England. It was built in 1741. And we were in the house for a short period of time and some weird shit started happening in the house. And then like a scene out of Poltergeist 2, this old woman's on our front porch in front of this screen door. And I'm like, who the hell is this? And she wanted to talk to my mom. And she was the great granddaughter of the house, but the house was rebuilt in the 1850s. Original foundation was 1741. In the 1850s, rebuilt by a colonel in the Civil War. And it was her great grandfather. And every time somebody bought the house, and we didn't know this when we bought it, she would come to the house and say, just so you know, my grandfather is still here. This is what he does, whatever. And so my mother one day just got so pissed off. My mother was a neatnik. and shit would come out of like be not in place anymore. It would drive my mother crazy. And she just talked to him and said, listen, Colonel, like I'm here. I'm going to take great care of your house. We love it here. My kids love it here. And things settled down. But you would hear footsteps in the middle of the night and like all this crazy stuff. My mother would tell me to go clean my room. I'm like, I did just clean my room. And I'd go upstairs. My room wouldn't be clean anymore. So it was, thankfully I grew up in that house as a kid because my mom did believe that I just cleaned my room. So.
We were grouped together. We all they looked, Scout Productions and Kristen Stewart looked all over the country. What they say is the best of the best ghost hunters. And they grouped us all together and stuck us in an RV and said, go hunt ghosts. And so that's what we did.
And it turned out great because these are my best friends.
I think each of us brought a tremendous amount of unique skills, talents, and personality. I think this show is really a great showcase of how 5 totally unique individuals can come together for the sole purpose of making lives better and for helping the living just as much as helping the dead. So I think each of us brought something totally unique. And I always joke, I say, we all look like we're going to a party, but we're not going to the same party. Like the 5 of us are not going to the same party. But when it came time to get into the environment and actually do the investigating and communicating with the spirits and the people who were living in it, we each excelled in a wonderful way that was very complimentary and really very beautiful to be a part of.
Yeah, I come from a very African and diasporan way to communicate with spirits. So maybe you've seen through communicating with shells or just the different tools that I would use and the ways that I approach spirit, the things that I wear. Very intentional around how like my ancestors communicated with spirits. So I think that also was really cool to be able to portray on such a large screen in a way that didn't demonize what people understand as like who we're do and things like that, but that it actually is a very unique and extensive system that works. And so that's kind of my framework and where I come from.
The show, I mean, we went to 8 different locations all over America, drove in an RV. Some of them we slept inside of these places. We went to quite a few hotels, motels. We went to an abandoned hospital, a strip club. Some episodes, absolutely terrifying. Some sweet, beautiful things happen. I mean, I would say pretty much every episode, if you watch as a viewer, you're going to laugh, you're going to get scared. You might even cry a time or two. It's definitely a different type of paranormal show. And we look super cute while doing it.
Mine was Waverly. I had a blast at Waverly, just being able to use all the equipment to climb into the morgue by myself and just explore my limits of being scared. That probably was my favorite.
I loved getting to, they were all my favorite in their own way, but I loved Bisbee because it was, and that's, I think, episode 2. It was very just sort of creepy. I wasn't expecting it to be as freaky and as scary as it was. I'm a psychic, so I'm pretty used to ghosts and paranormal things, but this place was a whole different level of scary. So like Roz and Alex said, the show has everything you could want. It's got the heart, it's got the humor, it's got the scariness. So it's great.